that we're going to do a co-parenting day because Jax had a little bit of a rough day yesterday. He was asking to move to the small house, which he does. So the small house in his mind is, it's our old house where we live together as a family, the three of us. And when we moved, one of the perks that we tried to talk to him about was being in a bigger house. Of course, my apartment is, it's not really much bigger, but to him it was huge, and because we lived in military housing, so it was a little bit bigger than what we were used to. And then his dad's house is significantly bigger, and so he sees the small house as being our old house and the big house as being, our separate houses. And maybe it feels bigger just because there's so much less weight on all of us. It's also probably true because when I first moved in, Jax ran around saying, "Thank you, Mommy, thank you, Mommy, thank you, Mommy." Ooh, I'm gonna get teary. When I first moved in here, because he felt the weight of everything that was happening, even if we tried to shield him from it. It's just impossible to shield them completely from it. They're intuitive little beings, and they know what's going on, even if they don't grasp the adult stuff that's going on. Anyway, so he had a rough day yesterday, and so today Dave invited me to go putt-putt golfing with them, get him back on Monday, my normal days. So yeah, it's good stuff. It can be hard, but we've gotten a lot better about it, and it's just under a year since I left. I left in May of 2018, and it is April 2018, so we're hitting almost a year of separation, and we're getting there. It's hard, and every day is a struggle, and some days are better than others, and like doing his birthday was a really big thing, and I'll post some videos about that, but it was good, and it turned out okay, and we try and do things like this for Jax. And we just don't talk about anything serious. We don't talk about any of the other stuff. We don't talk about, if either of us are dating. We don't talk about any of that stuff. We just focus on the moment, and that is a new thing. So let me just say that doesn't make us bigger, better people, because we don't always follow that rule, and we have broken that rule a few times, and it did not end well. So without talking about it or explicitly speaking of it, we just sort of made that rule an unwritten rule, and we're pretty good about it. So it's good for Jax to see mom and dad together. One of the things that I read when I was leaving, and when I still read about co-parenting, because goodness sakes, we're only 11 months out, but one of the things that I read is that the more that mom and dad talk to each other and the more positive that relationship is, the least effect it has on the child. And that was my biggest concern with the separation and the divorce, was that it was going to affect Jackson in big, bad, terrible ways. And there are ways to mitigate that, and it doesn't always mean that, and it doesn't have to mean that. The things that affect the child are those ongoing custody battles, and the ongoing fights, and the tension, and the anger, and the lashing out, and the talking bad about the other parent, and we don't do that. We want what's best for Jax, and that's ultimately why I left. Not only did I want what was best for me, but I also wanted what was best for Jax, and what was happening in our house was not what was best for Jax. And he's a happy little guy, and he has moments. Yesterday he had a moment, Dave told me, which is another thing, big communication. We communicate better now, and that varies, it's not always like that. So we'll see how it goes, and maybe I'll take some video today to kind of show us all together doing our thing. So yeah, that's what's happening on this beautiful, rainy, cold, yucky Saturday in Washington.